Kavontae Turpin's caused quite a storm recently. Turpin had a huge game so far in the preseason that basically solidified him a spot on the Dallas Cowboys roster. And you're probably wondering, where has he been? And why did it take the USFL to find Kavontae Turpin? Well, the story of Kavontae Turpin has a tragedy that almost killed his football career for good, but he never gave up. Come around, everyone, as I tell you the story of Kavontae Turpin. Kavontae Turpin was born August 2nd, 1996 in Monroe, Louisiana. Turpin would attend Neville High School, being a full-fledged wide receiver and return specialist. His senior year would be unstoppable, totaling over 1,900 all-purpose yards, including 29 touchdowns. After being named All-NELA Big School Offensive Player of the Year, Turpin would commit to TCU over Texas Tech. Turpin, his freshman year, would be his best season in college, starting only 5 games, but was mainly noticed as a returner for the Horned Frogs. After going over 900 yards in kick returns with 1 punt return touchdown, Turpin would also record 45 receptions for 649 yards with 8 touchdowns. He would be named Freshman All-American as a kick returner and honorable mention All-Big 12 selection as a return specialist. Turpin's sophomore season would slump due to him suffering a PCL knee injury. Playing only 8 games with 2 starts, his numbers would drop. He'd go over 500 yards of kick returns with another punt return touchdown. He would also catch 30 passes for 295 yards with only 1 touchdown. Turpin would be an honorable mention Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year and All Big 12 Return Specialist. Heading into his junior season, he would play all 14 games, only starting 3. Turpin went over 700 yards of kick returns, having a kick return and a punt return touchdown. Along with 41 catches for 394 yards and a touchdown, he would go over 1,200 all-purpose yards on the season. Turpin would be an AP First Team and All Big Ten selection as an all-purpose player. At this point of his career, Turpin stabled himself being one of the best kick returners in college football. He would come back to TCU for his senior year. After playing 7 games at TCU, Turpin would be arrested in October 2018 on an assault charge. Turpin was reported by his then-girlfriend that he grabbed her and dragged her across the parking lot and slammed her to the ground, where they wrestled before she got away and went to a neighbor's door and asked him to call the police. Turpin would say that she was angry because he thought she was sending photos of herself to other people. This would bring another arrest to the world's attention back in March 2018. Turpin was charged with a misdemeanor battery involving a household member and was also charged with criminal damage to the property of a household member and interference with communications in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Turpin would be suspended to play college football, and TCU would dismiss Kavontae, cutting his great career short. Turpin would later plead guilty for the October case in April 2019 and served 2 years of probation and had to complete a partner abuse intervention program. And as for the New Mexico case, the charges were dropped right before the sentence of the October case was carried out. In 2022, Turpin would talk about the cases, stating, "I changed a lot. I got close to God. It helped me become a better man, going to church. I never did that growing up with my parents. When I started doing that, blessings come true." Since then, Turpin has been clean since 2019, but with all that said and done, he would still go undrafted in 2019. It would take Turpin some time to get into a league, where the Indoor Football League signed Turpin to play for the Frisco Fighters on March 2020, but would never play a game for them due to the COVID pandemic. Turpin would be one of many receivers to play the first season of the fan-controlled football league. He would play for the Zappers and notably the Glacier Boys after being franchise tagged. Turpin would go all the way to the People's Championship, where they lost to the then Wild Aces. Turpin would have 11 receptions for 197 yards with 4 touchdowns. After the FCF season ended, Turpin would sign to the Sea Lions of the Spring League. Turpin would go 17 receptions for 240 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Sea Lions would go 1-5 for the season. After his TSL tenure, Turpin would travel to Poland to sign with the European Football League to play with the Warsaw Panthers as a mid-season replacement. Turpin played 5 games for the Panthers, recording 32 catches for 374 yards and 6 touchdowns. He would also get back to being a return specialist since his TCU days with 274 yards. Turpin could have gone back to the LEF, but decided to head back to the US, electing himself to the rebirth of the USFL. Turpin was drafted by the New Jersey Generals in the 13th round with the 103rd pick. There, Turpin would lead the league in receiving yards with 540 yards as well as having 4 touchdowns. He also went over 250 yards in returns with 1 touchdown. This would be enough for Turpin to be deemed the USFL MVP that season. He and the Generals would lead the North Division to the playoffs, but lost to the Philadelphia Stars. It was only a matter of time from that point on for him to sign with the NFL team. After the USFL, Turpin would sign a 3-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys in July 2022. At this time, Dallas was in need for a returner after CeeDee Lamb focuses at being wide receiver number 1 after the trade of Amari Cooper, and Turpin was seemingly a good fit. Turpin's first preseason game against the Broncos, he would only record 2 catches for 12 yards and only return 3 kicks for 35. Turpin didn't do much for this game. But of course, we all know what happens as Turpin got ready for his second game against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Receive it, and Turpin will take this one out just in front of the goal line. Finds a crease. Turpin now with some space. Gets past Hopkins. Turpin and past midfield. He's got daylight in front of him. Can anybody track him down? No, they can't. Kavontae Turpin, 98 yards to the house. Not only is it high, it is far, and Turpin makes one man miss. Let's see what kind of magic he has again. Turpin, jitterbug. Turpin, can he do it again? Kavontae Turpin, gone. Touchdown Cowboys, 72 yards.
And the rest is history. Turpin is now a lock for the Cowboys roster, and who knows, people are already calling him the next Tyreek Hill. Turpin's journey to the NFL has been a wild one to say the least, but as many fans of him, be it TSU fans, FCF fans, USFL fans, or spring football fans in general, we can all wish Kavontae the best of luck in the NFL. And also thanks for signing with the Cowboys, I appreciate it.